In this module, we'll unpack how NIST CSF 2.0 is structured, so it's actually usable in practice. We'll look at the core with its functions and outcomes, profiles, which describe your current and target states, and implementation tiers, which express maturity and the strength of your risk management. Traditional security frameworks often act like checklists. Did you install a firewall? Do you have antivirus? NIST CSF 2.0 shifts the focus to outcomes. Is critical data actually protected? Are key services resilient? Your specific controls can vary by technology, budget, and risk appetite, but the intended results stay consistent. This lets you map CSF outcomes to whatever tools and processes you already use, without being locked into a single prescription. Think of NIST CSF 2.0 as three interlocking pieces. The core is the taxonomy. It defines what good security outcomes look like, independent of any technology stack. Profiles add context. They describe how those outcomes apply in your environment today and where you want to be. Tiers add rigor. They show how consistently and effectively you manage risk around those outcomes, from ad hoc to adaptive. Putting the CSF into practice means continuously aligning all three. The CSF core is built as a hierarchy. At the top are the functions, which set the big picture strategy: identify, protect, detect, respond, recover, and govern. Each function breaks down into categories that group related topics like asset management or incident response. Under each category are subcategories that describe specific, observable outcomes. In day-to-day work, you implement and measure subcategories, then roll those results up to understand how each category and function is performing. NIST CSF 2.0 is organized around 6 functions that describe the full life cycle of cyber risk. Govern sits at the center. It covers decision-making, roles, policies, and aligning security with business objectives. Around it, Identify defines what you have and what matters. Protect applies safeguards. Detect finds anomalies and events. Respond manages incidents in progress. Recover restores services and improves things for next time. Together, these functions form a continuous, repeatable risk management system. Within that system, the Identify function is your strategic lens for cybersecurity. Asset management tells you what you have. Business environment explains why those assets matter to the mission. Risk assessment and risk management strategy define what could go wrong, how serious it would be, and how you'll treat that risk. Governance clarifies who decides and who's accountable. And supply chain risk management extends all of this to your vendors and external dependencies. Subcategories are where CSF outcomes become specific enough to implement. Take ID AM1 as an example. It states that physical devices and systems are inventoried. That's the what you must achieve, a reliable, up-to-date asset inventory. What it doesn't do is prescribe the how. It doesn't mandate a CMDB product, an agent, or a spreadsheet. You select the methods and tools that fit your environment, as long as you can show the outcome is consistently met. Let's make that flexibility concrete with ID. AM1, the asset inventory outcome. A 10-person company might meet it with a simple but well-maintained spreadsheet. A large enterprise might use an automated discovery platform feeding a CMDB. A cloud-native startup might rely on cloud provider APIs and scripts. The tools are very different, but NIST only cares that the inventory outcome is reliably achieved. Informative references are where the CSF starts paying real dividends. Each subcategory describes an outcome, and the references show how that same outcome appears in ISO 27001, CIS controls, NIST 853, and other standards. You implement the outcome once, then reuse it across audits, certifications, and questionnaires. In practice, you build a mapping table. CSF outcome in one column, existing controls and evidence in the others. That becomes your map once, comply many backbone. Implementation tiers describe how rigorously an organization manages cybersecurity risk, not how good or bad it is. Tier 1 is mostly ad hoc and reactive. Tier 2 is risk-informed. People are aware of risk, but practices are inconsistent. Tier 3 is repeatable. Policies and standards drive regular execution. Tier 4 is adaptive. Feedback, threat intelligence, and metrics continuously improve controls. When you assess tiers, focus on how integrated cybersecurity is into governance, planning, and everyday operations. Profiles turn the CSF core into a story about your organization. The blue shape represents your current profile. How well identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover outcomes are implemented today. The gold shape represents your target profile, the level of capability you need based on risk, regulations, and business goals. The value lies in the gaps between those two shapes. Those differences translate into concrete projects, budget requests, and a roadmap your leadership can understand and prioritize. This is where CSF work becomes strategy. Your current profile shows how each function actually performs today. Your target profile captures the level of capability your risk appetite and business objectives require. The gap between them highlights missing or weak outcomes. Gap analysis means asking which gaps create the most risk and which improvements are realistically achievable next. You then prioritize those gaps, turn them into funded projects, and that becomes your remediation roadmap. Stepping back, think of CSF 2.0 as three pieces you combine into one engine. The core gives you a complete set of security outcomes. What good looks like. Profiles add your unique context. Which outcomes matter most for your business and risk. Tiers describe how rigorously and consistently you manage those outcomes over time. When you connect outcomes, context, and rigor, you move from a static framework document to a living, actionable cybersecurity strategy and roadmap. NIST CSF 2.0 gives you three practical levers. Structure. Use functions, categories, and subcategories, especially govern, to connect big-picture strategy to concrete controls. Application. Build current and target profiles to expose real gaps. Measurement. Use implementation tiers to describe, compare, and improve your program's risk management maturity. Take a moment now to jot down any questions you want to clarify before moving on. When you're ready, we'll start applying these ideas inside the Identify function, turning abstract CSF concepts into concrete activities like asset inventories, business context mapping, and early risk decisions that shape everything else.